Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature, and I've got this big fellow here because we're going to talk about models that I have not talked about in a long time, if ever. I can't even recall at this point, but our big chaos beast here comes to us courtesy of Mom Miniatures, or Miniaturas, if we're going to go with the correct pronunciation, from Spain. And while they have consistently been putting out fun, reasonably priced resin kits that are perfectly made for rank and file fantasy battle games, which people have rarely done. They were plugging away at it for a long time. I've had this guy since probably before I even started the channel, maybe around the time I started the channel. And he was probably not even 20 euros, which says something right there. May not have been the best casting job or cleanup job on my part, but I felt like it always was a pretty decent paint job. I wanted to grab some of the other Mom Miniatura stuff I have, but I can't find it. This guy has been consistently sitting by my computer for years now, so take of that what you will. But we are going to talk about their stuff because for the longest time they actually did a bunch of Kickstarters. They had consistently new models putting up on their website, but now they've actually been pretty consistent about plugging away at a new Patreon and Tribes or Frontiers or whatever you want to get your STL files for 3D printing from. And as I was saying, their rank and file stuff has really been fantastic if you like certain things. And I have to say, their Dwarves have been some of the things that have caught my attention for many a year. And finally, when I saw their most recent stuff, I had to pull the plug and I had to grab some. But I wanted to show you guys. Their figures are super duper characterful and really have that old school, old hammer charm to them. And that's something that Mom's done since as long as I can remember seeing their stuff. Now, most of their figures are single cast pieces in resin, and I've got paint under my fingernails again, lovely. Except every now and then they'll have their own, shields. And probably if you want to get really creative, considering that's just a nice round plug, you could stick just about any type of shield in there. And these are not your traditional warriors, these are forest dwarves. They did a whole forest dwarf army, which I thought was kind of fun and different. Instead of steel hearts and things like that. The Iron Guard, I don't remember what's what, and everything's changed since it went Sigmar-ish anyways. But they have a lot of traditional counterparts in these, as well as, more traditional units. And I really just like the look and feel of their guys. Yeah, they look kind of like gnomes to a degree with those nice tall caps. But they've got the usual units that you would expect. Like I said, there are a bit more fun ones. If you are ever in the need for Slayers, they have a set of, there's 10 individual sculpts. I want to say all of these, they had Doom Seekers and all that fun stuff too, but all of these, other than the fact that I need to clean them up a little bit better when you have that 4x zoom on there. And I have a new phone, unfortunately, that I'm trying to learn all of the ins and outs of, and I'm not there yet, so just bear with me. But you can see really solid looking models, a lot of character in there. And naturally, I'll have to grab some other dwarves just to give you guys a good look-see. Again, yes, I do need to clean them up a bit better. I thought I got all those little supports off. Just a lot of fun sculpts. But that's not even what I wanted to talk about today. Some of the explorers, rangers, bushmen. That were kind of fun. Also, they are equal opportunity dwarves for ranking up because there are just as many male as female variants. Now, what I wanted to talk about today were their forest hermits. When I saw these guys, I was like, oh my goodness, I bet we can find some kind of use for them. First, I thought they were wearing hats. No, they're wearing mushroom caps, and they all have sticks, and they all have ridiculously giant beards and nothing else. The beards are the only thing keeping them modest here. And as you can see, I was a little bit rough trying to get some of these off of the supports and snap them, carrying even more mushrooms, and I'm assuming some kind of alcoholic beverage, because why they're out in the woods with no clothing on in the first place, you got me, but I'm sure they're up to something tasty and interesting. But yeah, I figured these guys, you could probably use them for so many different things. rank them up. Obviously, if you want to have a unit of drugged out, hallucinating mushroom users, why not? I'm sure you guys could find a use for them. Some kind of kooky wood mage, druids, what have you. I'm sure people can come up with uses. I honestly was thinking of like the mycenoids, like mycenoid, I don't know how to say it, the mushroom people. Back in the day, Ganesha Games did a bunch of mushroom men. I thought this would be kind of fun to have hanging around with them, but you can paint them up like kind of evil fungi, chaos dwarves, regular dwarves, what have you. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Oh, I found my oracle. I thought this was a fun little model. This is actually a two-part model as well. The staff was a separate piece, but they were shapeshifters. Just weird stuff, guys, with like pieces of bark hanging off their beards. And as much as I like these guys, I had to show you as well the latest in ranged warfare. We have a Beehive Blaster. And I saw this and I was like, that is pretty ridiculous. It's not even glued together. Everything just kind of snapped in nice and tight. I did manage to bust off one of the bees while removing those supports. Shame on me. Your ammunition. Painting those bees is going to be fun. I like bees, despite the fact that they like to sting people. They're usually pretty cool. I don't know about wanting to use them as ammunition. I feel like that's kind of a waste, even in a fantasy world. Thinking maybe paint them as hornet nests, but then again, why would people be wanting to collect hornets? But the best part was we had dwarven beekeepers. Maybe I need to have like a big yellow bear hanging around. Gotta get that honey. I'm assuming this is the spotter. I do like that they're all covered in bees. Even on the axe. Somewhere I should have one more. I guess he's the spotter. Making sure it's okay. Gotta have those flasks. So just a fun set. And like I said, I'm gonna grab a couple. They are meant for rank and file. I don't have a whole lot of guys on square bases. I don't even own a lot of square bases. But you can see here, they are a little bit on the large side, so that might be an issue, depending on how you want to base things. Now, granted, these guys aren't exactly standing on the ground either. Something to keep in mind. They all have different mushroom tops as well. Just so weird. Weird and fun. So, I mean, if you don't mind, I guess for hero types, a little bit of discrepancy in the sizes, you can always tweak it, but I always like to print things as is to get a good idea of what to expect, you know? I think if you're interested, they had plenty of other dwarves. They've got some chaos stuff coming in the very near future, which I pretty much am going to guarantee you'll see on this channel because it look really fun and just bizarre. They've had some very Mordheim-esque fish-headed bandits. And by fish head, I mean they're wearing fish heads. They don't have fish heads. There's been a whole bunch of Imperial Dwarf units. So if you wanted to have dwarfs allied with the Empire, you could do that. I know they did a couple of Imperial Ogres at one point. There's just been a lot of interesting stuff. So by all means, take a look at their models. I think there's a lot of fun to be had there, and hopefully we'll see some of these show up again on a Monday. I'll make sure to have that beekeeper, once one of them is finished, show up in the thumbnail. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And in the meantime, enjoy what you can find there. And with that said then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.